After a heartbreaking end to their debut season in Europe, Bournemouth finished their season in the best possible way, redeeming themselves by retaining the FA Cup with a victory over Manchester United at Wembley to give them their second major honour in club history and joining an exclusive list of teams who have won football's oldest competition back-to-back. But the question marks loomed over the future of manager Jonah Docksy after 3 incredible years of the Vitality, where he led them to 4 major finals, winning 2 in the process and turning Bournemouth into a certified European team. Surely at some point he'd be moving on to a bigger club and a new challenge with lots of interest in the Englishman. Well, let's just say the timing and the fit was perfect for everyone. Because after a dismal season at Anfield where Liverpool failed to win any silverware and were knocked out by Docksy's Bournemouth in both the EFL Cup and the FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley, Jurgen Klopp decided, after staying on for an extra couple of years more than planned, his time as Liverpool manager should now come to an end, as he bows out as a legend of the club. His blessing given to Docksy boy to take over at the club, who are desperately in need of a rebuild with so many aging players and a desire to bring in some young talent. John Henry offered a job, with Xabi Alonso deciding to stay put at Leverkusen after back-to-back titles at the Bay Arena and said, "Here, you'll never walk alone." A chance to move to one of the biggest clubs in England and the world and rebuild a team, aiming to bring back the glory days to Anfield. Docksy leaves Bournemouth with an amazing team, an abundance of young talent and 2 trophies in the cabinet, and heads to the northwest to put pen to paper at Anfield. It's time for the next chapter in the realistic career mode.
A warm welcome to you all. Without further delay, we are pleased to introduce your new manager.
What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It is episode number 25. We are back. It is a brand new season. For the first time, we have moved teams within the save and jumped ship from Bournemouth to Liverpool as we'll try and rebuild the Reds after a disastrous last season. Heading into the new season, our first with Liverpool, our first at Anfield. Looking to rebuild the side. Our budget is a bit too much, I think. 246 million. It's a monstrous budget, just shy of $250 million. But Liverpool going for a rebuild. No Champions League football. In fact, we even got Conference League. I think we have Conference League, don't we? We got Conference League or no European football at all. Oh yeah, of course, because with Bournemouth we finished 8th, but we won the FA Cup, didn't we? So no European football at all. Yeah, we're going to burn through some of that money and reinvest in the infrastructure, but we're not going to be spending all of that on new players. That's a bit too much in my opinion. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll hire the best scouting team possible. Annoyingly, we kind of already have it, but yeah, we'll fire and hire some scouts, and that will use a bit of money. And we'll do the same with the youth staff as well. So annoying when this is one thing that really irritates me a little bit. It's like, why we all wanted to, even if we had a poor season last year, I should say Liverpool had a poor season last year, they're still one of the best and biggest clubs in the world, and certainly in England. Why would we not be able to attract a 5-star judgment scout? Even so, we'll hire some scouts. We'll do the same with the youth staff, and that'll see our budget drop down a little bit. And yeah, we'll not spend all of that $250 million. We'll spend a lot of it. We'll spend most of it, but definitely not all of it. In fact, can I fire that 4-star and get a I can get a 5-star 4-star. Okay, never mind. That's so frustrating, honestly. But anyway, yeah, so Liverpool's team then, I think I might have briefly showed it in the introduction. It's good, but do you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Roy Hodgson's Liverpool. You know, there's some star players here, like your Steven Gerrard through the middle, for example. But it's not really got an identity to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure Liverpool fans that lived through that era, you'll remember the infamous Gerrard penalty miss versus Blackburn. Did he do it on purpose to get Roy Hodgson sacked? I guess we'll never know. But this is kind of what that team reminds me of. There's some star players here. There's some real quality, but I don't really see the identity of it. And I think it needs a bit of a reset, you know, a new young manager coming in, just like me. I'm still young at 31, and a new identity carved out. It's all right. It's okay. There is some young talent here, but it needs a change. It definitely does need a rebuild. And the interesting thing that's really drawn me to the Liverpool team is, again, coming on the back of a really, really poor season, they've got an absolute ton of players for their deals that come at the end of the year. Like an absolute ton of players. So this team right now is about to go for a major rebuild. It's about to go through a major, major change. There's some veterans here, like Danilo, like Joel Matip, like Alisson, that are playing their final years. Danilo's case is retiring at the end of the season as well. Endo's 33, Thiago's 35. There's a lot of players here that are basically playing their final year or final 2 years at Anfield, and it needs like a major, major rebuild. And it's going to be a great, great fun challenge, I'm sure, to rebuild this team, bring in some young talent, and for the first time in the post-Klopp era now, give it an identity. It's desperate for one. So many players are going to go. We're going to cull a lot of the deadwood here. We're going to sell a lot of those seniors, and we're going to bring in some young talents and lay down and give Liverpool a new core here at Anfield. First year outside of European football, and with that being the case as well, we need to be honest here and say, if Liverpool aren't even in Europe at all, let alone the Champions League, should Pedri stay at 92 overall, 23 years old? Should Rodrigo stay at 91 overall, 25 years old? I don't think so. I think we should sell them to Champions League sides. So looking down the list of the players here, who we're going to keep, who we're going to sell. Danilo, don't forget, is the one that's retiring. No one else is, but Danilo, who is actually, funny enough, club captain now at Liverpool, is retiring. I'm going to keep Athena Jan because this guy always scores against me, man. So I'm looking forward to having him score for me for once. So I'm going to keep Athena Jan, the young Ghanaian striker. I'm going to keep Calvin Ramsey, the 22-year-old Scottish fullback as well, because he is an academy graduate, I think, as well. So that'll help with the homegrown quota, even though we're not in Europe this year, so don't need to worry about it too much. And I think I'll keep Luis Diaz, because I do want a senior or two to help steady the ship as I've come in. And we love Luis Diaz. For all he went through during this past season, we'd always love the Colombian man. So much respect for him. But I think for the others, I'm going to look to sell. That means that Thiago's going to go. That means that Matip is going to go. Heck, even Alisson might go. I don't know. We'll see. But just a free contract given out. I will decide on a couple others as the season goes on. Yeah, let's be honest here. I don't think Pedri or Rodrigo would want to stay. Alisson, I think, because he's been here for so many years, probably would sort of live through this era. Same with Konate, I think, as well. And Andy Robertson, too, especially at 32 years old. Now, Cody Gakpo, not too sure about that. I mean, I love Cody Gakpo, so I'd rather keep him personally. But we'll see. If we get a massive bid from someone like Real Madrid, then I'll let him go. But yeah, I think for Pedri and Rodrigo, we need to be honest here. Would they stay? Maybe, but I'd probably say no, personally. So we're going to let them both go. And again, look to rebuild. I don't know about Salah, man. I don't know whether to extend that contract. I guess we'll see. But let's advance a few days in the calendar and see what kind of bids we get. Yeah, both Rodrigo and Pedri saying, "Hey, boss, I'm a bit surprised you're looking to move me on, but I can't say I'm unhappy about it." Why would they be unhappy? They're good enough to play for any team in the world. And, this isn't quite the move I wanted to make. I was hoping I could get back to Barcelona. Man City and Liverpool, they don't really do much business now with the kind of the new rivalry between the two clubs. So I think I'll turn that one down. If I can get him again to like a Barcelona or a PSG, I think that's probably a little bit more likely. Then again, working under Guardiola, I'm sure I think that Pedri would love to do that. I'll see if I can get a bid from again a PSG or a Barca. If not, then I might let him go there. And AC Milan, that's an interesting one, that. Yeah, to be honest, the last time a player moved between Liverpool and Manchester City was before Pep Guardiola took over back in 2015. That was Raheem Sterling going. So I think instead we are going to send him to AC Milan. Just won the Serie A, just won the Europa League, and a chance for him to play at the iconic San Siro for the Italian champions and Champions Football. That to me, I'd say, makes a little more sense. Milan have offered us De Ketelaere. To be honest, I could see Musa moving here, because right now he's not a starter there by any means. I don't even think he got on the pitch for that Europa League final against us last year. They've got Adley, Pabega, De Ketelaere, RLC is still there, and then the big three, which are Gabri, Vega, Benessa, and Goretzka as well. I wouldn't mind saying to Milan, look, give us Yunus Musa, and we'll take 120 million as well. So we get a really decent young American player. And that kind of meets around the market valuation as well. And because we didn't qualify for Europe last year, we shouldn't be able to hold clubs for ransom anyway, even for one of our best players. I think that deal is quite realistic. I don't mind that. And so as Pedri leaves to the San Siro and joins up with Europa League winners and Serie A winners of last year, and Musa agrees a 5-year, 90 grand a week contract to go from Valencia to Milan and now to Liverpool. We've got him. Yunus is in. And I have to say, I'm pretty pleased this signing here. For the rebuild era, I think this makes absolutely perfect sense. A versatile player, can play in a range of positions. You know I love that. And someone who will get more first-team football here with a side in transition. Welcome to Anfield. First time I get to say it. Yunus Musa. Yeah, quite excited about this. Quite excited. Only 23 years old, 82 overall, still getting better as well. When you look at his stats here, again, 89 stamina, medium-high work rate. You know I love this. Balanced all across the board. I have to say, I could see this guy turning into a wing-back, no doubt about it. He's quick, he's got fantastic crossing ability. I have to say, in this team, as the long-term successor for Danilo, who's retiring at the end of the year, I think that would make sense to me. Either in the middle, as part of a midfield trio, or at wing-back. I think, personally, he could play either role. For now, I'll keep him on balanced, but, yeah, either would work well in this Liverpool team, I'd say. I do think we need to bring someone in long term. I mean, João Hato is an amazing young defender, but Matip is going to go. So we're going to need at least a new centre half to compete with Hato and Konate, even if Konate does stay. Danilo, again, we need a successor. Musa can do that role, but I'm not too sure. Trent, by the way, is at Real Madrid right now, so I don't think we should get him back, as he's one of the best fullbacks in the world at this current point. Right, funny enough, I've shortlisted a few Bournemouth players, by the way, and look at the growth that a couple of them have had. Kirkes is now 89 overall, and where's Clark? There he is. Clark is also 89 overall. So I was thinking maybe moving on to Liverpool, we could snap one of these guys up. Right now with Bournemouth, yeah, still playing Europa League football. I think not. But what we could do is look at some of the Brentford players or Palace players that went down last year. Paixão, Gibbs White, Ebrechi, Zay, definitely targets. And I think Ebrechi will be a really good fit as well. Palace just been relegated. Too good for the championship, 84 overall, and I know I've had him a few times before. I get that, guys. I know this is a player that I've signed a few times before, but this actually fits Liverpool like a glove here. Ebrechi is a homegrown and trained in the nation. Just relegated Crystal Palace, but too good for the championship. And he wants to stay in the English national team. With his deal at come the end of the year as well, he needs to move on. This makes sense. Oliver Glasner knew he couldn't keep hold of him after relegation. He's too good for the championship now, and therefore he agrees to sell him for £31 million on a 4-year, 115 grand a week deal. Eberechi finally gets that move to a top team as he moves from Crystal Palace to Liverpool, and I'm buzzing to have him at Anfield. I know I have used him a few times before, guys, I do get that, but he's just such a good player, and honestly, he fits this team like a glove. He took number 13 originally, but I've taken it off him, so I've kept number 10 vacant for you, because I want you to keep on wearing it. Welcome to Anfield, Eberechi. He's 28 years old, so no spring chicken like when he first burst on the scene at QPR, but he's still getting better, and right now in the prime of his career. Amazing technicals, man. 87 ball control, 88 dribbling. I love the 85 short pass, so handy for a CAM to play balls through as well. And whilst right now I'll keep him on balance, he's still getting better and better and better, man, even though he's coming into his late 20s. This is a perfect signing for where we're at right now with Liverpool. I love this deal. And there is a bid from Brentford for Thiago. The Bees were just relegated to the second tier. If they were still playing Premier League football, I'd probably sell him there, but I'm not sure if Thiago would move on, especially on that contract, to a second tier side. So if we get a bid from a Premier League side, I'd sell him there. It's 2 bids here for Rodrigo. I don't know if I discussed this earlier, but I feel as though it would be better to try and get him to Real Madrid. Unfortunately, the bids just aren't coming in yet. I'm not sure if we'd make either of those moves personally at 91 overall. Possibly, to be fair, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping that we can still get into Real Madrid. That's the preference. And well, Osasuna wanting to take Thiago back to Spain, to the north in Navarre. Not necessarily against that, to be honest. I mean, Thiago's a very interesting one. He was born in Italy, but he could represent, I think, 3 or 4 nations, including Brazil, and in the end he chose Spain. Product of the Barcelona Academy, so he's played La Liga football before. To be honest here, I'd take that. 35 years old, declining... Oh, okay. Declining... How do I just... Is there no way to... Can I just... I think I just messed that one up there. Alright, 1% sell on course. Declining rapidly. Why can't I just say that's fine? That's weird, that. Yeah, declining rapidly, 35 years old. Okay, well that's just a really... Look, we got there in the end. That's the most important thing. £10 million. Sending him back to La Liga. Final few years playing for Osasuna in a leadership role. I think that's all right. And Union Berlin want to take him as well. And again, he spent most of his career, to be fair, playing for Bayern Munich under Pep Guardiola. So yeah, totally fine with that. If he wants to go back to Germany or Spain, where he spent a few years playing, that's fair enough. And Monza want to take Joel Matip. Totally fine selling Matip. Also a veteran now at 34, but I feel I could get him somewhere better than Monza, to be honest. And certainly not Athletic Bilbao. No, just not one bit realistic, that. So, yeah, Thiago can choose between going back to the Bundesliga or going back to La Liga. That's totally fine. We shall see. Where's he gone? Well, he's not gone to Union Berlin. Yeah, he's still thinking about the deal to go to Osasuna. And I don't mind that. Benfica wanting Joel Matip. They obviously prefer their younger players, but a good veteran there for the young defenders. So I think that deal works fine with Benfica also playing European football too. Oof, and Chelsea putting in a massive bid for Rodrigo. Now, I was trying to get him to Real Madrid, but they're the champions. Chelsea won the Premier League title last season. So to be honest, I actually don't mind that one there. I think again, because of the fact that we're not playing CL football, Chelsea are and they're champions too. I think that deal, tough one, but I think it makes sense. Chelsea have someone who, I mean, Broja would be perfect. Someone who may not be starting out. Oh, no, could I do a Sterling homecoming? Would the fans accept it? I don't know. I love that idea, man. I really do. Obviously, came through QPR as a youngster before joining Liverpool. Was looking like he was going to be a big piece of theirs for many years to come before that big move to Manchester City. Can I do that? I love the idea, I'm not going to lie. Especially because Rodrigo would take his place as well. Who is that? Interesting. No way. Thiago Silva is still going. Goodness gracious. Fair play. You've got to respect that at 41. Still not ready to hang on just yet. Oh, I'd love to bring Sterling back, but I don't know if the fans would accept him, man. I mean, he gets booed every time he's back at Anfield. Listen, I love Sterling, man. I think the media have massacred him over the years, and totally unfairly, in my opinion. I think he's a really, really nice bloke, but I don't think the fans would take him back personally. So I'm going to say to Chelsea, look, 150 mil. 150 mil. I'd say it's quite realistic. Actually, with inflation, possibly a little bit more, you know. Possibly a little bit more. Maybe 160 mil. He is one of the best players in the world. So yeah, I'd say with inflation, 160 mil. Poch, what do you say? No, they're still not happy with that. Okay, well in that case, then, do you know what? We'll say 152.5 million pounds. I'd say that's fair in this market, with the inflation adjustment as well. Now into our 4th year, as he's going to join the Premier League champions. Yeah, I think that deal makes total sense. Joel Matip has turned down a move to Benfica due to personal terms, and well, I'm not too sure about that one personally. Did he? Oh, he rejected a move to Osasuna. Okay, so this is the problem we've got here. These players are on incredibly high contracts, and the question is, would they want to move to a different club and take a pay cut as well? I don't think many would. I think many would pull a Winston Bogarty and say, listen, I'm under contract here, so I am staying. But I think Rodrigo will be leaving to Chelsea. Premier League champions, Champions League football, and there it is. Rodrigo has gone £152.5 million, possibly a little bit more than realistic. Maybe 140 would have sufficed. But to be fair, Poch put in a £151 million deal himself, so it's not like I asked for way too much. But even so, 152.5 mil, one of the best players in the world, but too good to not be playing European football whatsoever, and not Champions League football as well. He's off to the Premier League champions. He's off to play CL football. Rodrigo calls time at Anfield, is off to Stamford Bridge. However, budget now up to 467 million. Like I said, guys, we're not going to spend all that, don't worry. But Brighton putting in with Thiago. I like this one, though, to be fair. I like this under De Zerbi. Going in there, just like James Milner did, and Adam Lallana as well. I like that deal. I think that one makes a lot of sense, so I'm okay with that. I would say, looking at the team now, again, we're still in rebuild mode here, I would like a really good young player. Obviously, Moose is only, what's he now, 25 years old? No, 23 years old, still quite young himself, and Eze is 28 too, but I'd like a really good young talent to come in as well, to develop over the years. You know, when a manager does join a new team, sometimes they do take players with them to that new club. And to me, whilst Lee Win is the one I would love, he's still out on loan at FC20. Before I left Bournemouth, I did give those academy players scholarships. And one of those lads was the Scottish fullback we were so keen on. 92 to 94 potential. He's had a massive overall spike, like a few of these players as well. And I'm going to bring him with me to Liverpool and say, I saw the talent in you when we brought you to the club as a youngster on a scholarship. Now, I'm going to give you the chance to come to a massive club and possibly get thrown into the deep end. Ben McKenzie, the Scot, let's bring him in. One of the reasons why Liverpool hired me was for my ability to bring in those young talents and develop them over time. And they asked me, who would you take from Bournemouth if you could have anyone? Well, maybe not my number one target, but certainly my number two. And possibly in this team, he'll be turned into a number two. A great fullback coming through the Bournemouth Academy and now moving to Liverpool for 12.75 million on a 5-year, 10 grand a week deal. Welcome to Anfield. Ben McKenzie with that potential to be special. Man, I'm just so excited for this young Scot. I really am. And perfect as well as the understudy for Andy Robertson, 15 years younger than that Scottish left back. But him coming in, man, I love the stats. High work rates already after the jump up in overall since leaving. 78 stamina, 80 jumping, 84 defensive awareness. To have that at 17, that's incredible. He's got better defensive awareness than most fullbacks have been playing for years and years. But Ben McKenzie is in. And again, if we get that in for a week for that to 5-star, there's no reason why he couldn't be our long-term successor on that right-hand side. But for now, I think we'll keep him on balance. We could possibly move him into the middle as well. But for now, yeah, we'll keep him on balance, let his stats go naturally. But this is a great understudy and long-term successor for Andy Robertson at left-back, I would say. And there is an offer for Ben Doak from PSV, but I'm going to turn that one down. I still think this guy could become a really good player in this Liverpool team. And, of course, homegrown as well, so we'll keep him for now. Crystal Palace want to take... I actually don't mind that. Calvin Ramsey on loan, now dropping to the second tier. He's not going to start in the team, so I actually don't mind that at all if I can get his overall up. By the way, I got this wrong earlier. I said I think he's homegrown and academy grad. He's not. He was an academy graduate of Aberdeen, so apologies to my Aberdeen fans. Who wants Joel Matip? Also, soon want him as well. So they wanted Thiago, and now they want Joel Matip. Looking to sign all the players on Liverpool scrap heap right now. But Thiago's still negotiating with Brighton. I wonder if that deal's going to go through or not. If not, I've got a feeling that he like Matip, is just going to sit on that contract and wait. No, there we go. Right on cue, he decides I'm going to go to Brighton. Just like Adam Lallana, just like James Milner, in the final years of his professional career, moving on to play football on the south coast of Brighton. I like that sale there. And directly afterwards, we do see that Leipzig have put a bid in for Luis Diaz because just signed a new contract, so not going to leave now. I want this guy to be a senior leader during this transitional period. But also, Joel Matip wanted by Lazio as well, so I don't mind that there, as he might well be on his way to Rome. So I think I might try and make one more signing and then leave today's episode off there and do the rest of the rebuild in the next episode. Again, the team still has a lot of players who are, I don't know, I don't want to call them deadwood because they're not like 29 years old and on like 50 grand a week, but they're still players who I'm not sure if they're going to make it here, to be honest here. How old is Reece Williams now? 25. So yeah, but I think I might make one signing and then leave this as part one of the rebuild, and then move on to part two in the next episode. I'll get through to the first of the month, and then we'll leave it there. As Calvin Ramsey is off to play championship football for a year, or 2 years I should say, and try and get Palace back up to the Premier League. And so as Calvin Ramsey joins Crystal Palace on a 2-year loan deal, keep an eye on him there at Selhurst Park. Joel Matip was turned down to move to Osasuna and with Lazio, but there is a bid here from Al Hilal, so possibly if he's worried about a wage decrease, I'm sure he'd stay on the same salary, if not more there. And Arsenal putting in an offer for Rafinha Jan. Listen, Mikel, I want to get him playing for me. I know because if I send him to you, he'll score against me, so I'm going to say no, especially because he's just got given a new contract as well. And yeah, I think I might try and make one more signing and then leave it there for today. We are going to need a new centre-half at some point. But I'm thinking I wouldn't mind bringing back another Liverpool Academy graduate who had what you'd call mixed game time whilst he was at Anfield. He's moved on since and gone to Atalanta, but they're not a Champions League side. And I would love to bring him back and say, listen, things will be different if you return. Curtis Jones, great young prospect, but again, mixed game time at Anfield throughout his young career. And I'm going to say things will be different if you come back with us transitioning and in rebuild mode. Let's bring him back. It's crazy to think this guy has not had an England cap yet. I'm sure it's going to come not before long, and maybe it'll come during our tenure as well. Injury problems, mixed game time, decided to leave and go to the Serie A, but we said, Curtis, things are going to be different. Come back home, a Liverpool born and bred academy graduate returning for £38 million on a 5-year deal. Welcome home, welcome back to Anfield. Curtis Jones, yeah, really, really pleased with this one. 25 years old. I've always been a fan of his game as well because he's better going forward in my opinion. But he's such a hard worker. You know, he really does work hard out of possession as well as in it as well. And he's a great fit for this team as well. I do want to get his defensive stats up a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know how much better he can get now at 25. But I still think he could grow a rating or two, and that's more than good enough to be a starter. If not, then playing, I'd say, I don't want to say mixed game time because that's the problem he had in the first stint. But yeah, he'll start enough games. Don't worry, Curtis. I haven't brought you back under false pretense. You'll still start most of our games. And we shall end today's episode off with a look at the World Cup in 2026 and see who won international football's grand prize for this year. I have to say some very interesting groups there. And as we get into the knockout stages, as England made the quarters, they were knocked out by Argentina. And the winners in a France and Spain final as Finland got third place. Is AK in this save? Spain beating France 2-1 as Pedri gets his hands on the World Cup alongside a contract with AC Milan. But that'll do it for the first episode of the Realistic Career Mode with Liverpool, guys, and episode number 25. If you've enjoyed it, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'm really looking forward to rebuilding this Liverpool team in the next episode as well, because we'll return in the next one with a month still going in the transfer window. We'll play the remainder of the window, make some more signings, I'm sure. We won't spend all of the money, but still bring in some new recruits, continuing to rebuild, and we'll play our first games in the Premier League with our first ever Merseyside derby as well. Really looking forward to that. Have a fantastic day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode as we continue to rebuild Liverpool and Anfield very soon.